Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a rainy day here in Dallas. It's January 24th, 2023, and it's LinkedIn Tuesday. Very glad you're with us this afternoon. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please, as soon as you think about them, put them into the chat window. For those on Facebook, just enter any questions you have into the comment field. We are monitoring both feeds, and as our speaker takes a break, we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Also, this is all about LinkedIn. This is all about connecting with other people. So if you'd like to put in your contact information, put in your name, email address, your LinkedIn profile, so that you can connect with everybody else who's on the call. It's a great way to expand your connections. Even list a couple companies that you'd like to have some help with, because you never know who on the call would be able to help you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or if you see me in person, I always have copies with me. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. Like I said, I took it over in 2000, and we have a really great program coming up this Friday. I'll tell you all about it at the end of this session. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. Remember, your resume and your LinkedIn profile are not going to get you a job. What they will do is they'll get you a phone call. How well you practice your interviewing skills, that's what's going to get you your next job when the person calls you up. So we got a great crowd with us today. We have 4 outstanding speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis. Today, our speaker is Ruth Lipsky. She's a career coach with Lee Heck Harrison. She helps people in transition, just like all of us, on a daily basis. Today, she's going to talk about how to drive recruiters to your LinkedIn profiles. Ruth, Happy New Year, and thank you for being with us today.
And Happy New Year to you too. Thank you so much for having me here. There's a lot to be said about LinkedIn these days. It's an easier way to find a job, and it's an area that recruiters are becoming more and more interested in. So let's just jump in and say, why are we even on LinkedIn? 2 primary reasons. One is that if a recruiter has our resume in hand, they probably want to know a little bit more. They know that the resume is going to be a subset of all skills that we have. They want to go out onto LinkedIn, see what else we have available in our skill sets. The other reason that we want to be on LinkedIn, though, is because more and more recruiters are using LinkedIn to find people that they need quickly. So instead of posting out onto the multiple job boards that they're looking for someone to fill this position, they can go onto LinkedIn, put in a title and some keywords, and they have thousands of people that are brought back to them. So we are going to be looking more at the second set of information. How do you allow recruiters to find you and approach you for jobs that they have that may not have been put on any of the job boards, but are still openings that they're looking to fill outside the company? First thing you need to know is that LinkedIn gives your profile a score every day. And the score is based on what your content is, how much information you have, how active you are. Everything you do on LinkedIn has a point value associated with it. LinkedIn is not going to tell us what the point value is, nor will it tell us what the score is for your profile, but maintaining accuracy, maintaining effort, maintaining a visible profile is going to be important for you, because as soon as you stop activity on LinkedIn, your score is going to go down. And therefore, where you are on the recruiter search is going to go down too. So here's what it looks like when a recruiter does a search on the LinkedIn recruiter software. In this case, The recruiter is looking for a project manager in the greater Chicago area with these skills, business strategy and analytics. What comes back are nearly 43,000 people who match that criteria. Way more than anybody ever wants to walk through. But take a look at the people who come up high on this list of nearly 43,000. LinkedIn does not do anything randomly. There's a reason that these people are so high up on the list. And it's generally because they have a high scoring profile. They're active on LinkedIn. The recruiter is going to be able to see them quickly. LinkedIn is rewarding them for utilizing the LinkedIn features in order to continue their job search. The other thing, though, that recruiters are going to do to sort people out is they're going to be looking for things like who's open to a new opportunity. It used to be that we would say that you needed to have a job in order to find a job, and that it was easier to find a job if you were already employed. That's not true anymore. About 10 years ago, with the mergers and acquisitions, huge blocks of very capable people were laid off. During the pandemic, over the last couple of years, companies had to downsize and got rid of departments and lines of business. The people who are laid off right now are not the people who were the poor performers like they were 20 years ago. They're the people who were in the wrong place at the wrong time and are probably incredibly strong performers. So now it's easier to find a job if you are unemployed than if you are employed. And that's why the Open to New Opportunities was set up by LinkedIn. The other things that they can be looking at in order to sort people down into those that are most desirable for them is, do they have a company connection? And a company connection means that they are connected to somebody within the company. So if you know somebody that is in the company that you're targeting and you're connected with them on LinkedIn, it's going to show up. The recruiter will be able to see that and reward that because they think you probably know a little bit more about the company. You probably know a little bit more about the culture, and you may be more willing to talk with them and accept a job if it's offered. The other thing that recruiters look for is engaging with the talent brand. That means that you're following the company itself, not just the people in the company, but you're following the company. And you can do that on LinkedIn by clicking a follow button when you go onto the company page on LinkedIn. Once again, recruiters think that if you're interested in the company, then you're going to know more about it, and you're probably going to be easier to interview. Once you follow a company, it means that your homepage is going to contain more information that is posted by that company. It could be new products, it could be new features, it could be what they did on Employee Engagement Day. But by following a company, by engaging with the talent brand, you're getting more information about the company's day-to-day activities. The other things that are interesting to a recruiter is the likely to respond. This once more is something that you can't see, but LinkedIn calculates in the background. There will be times when a recruiter is going to send you a message and say, we have a job opening. Looks like you've got the skills. Let's talk about it. Do you have time? If so, please send me some suggestions on when you're available for an interview. If you do not respond, this number goes down. If you do respond, even if it's simply to say, not interested in that job, it's in this city and I can't move, or I'm looking for a more senior position, this one looks as if it's a little bit lower than what my goals are, at least you responded to them. But that likely to respond is going to be part of the calculation of your score, and it's going to be something that the recruiters can search on so they can find the people that are worth sending an invitation to. And not surprisingly, past applicants. Companies love it when you apply more than once to their job board. They love it when you have different jobs that you're applying for all at the same time. It indicates a strong interest in the company, and a recruiter is going to make it so much easier to talk to you about interviewing for those types of jobs. So these 5 things are going to be an important part of how you're going to keep the recruiter's interest aside from just what you're going to be putting on your profile. And what we found out is that those 5 items that recruiters are using as the sort features are the primary part of the LinkedIn algorithm, because it indicates there's a mutual interest between you and the company, and it's going to go both ways. If you're interested in the company is going to be interested in you, and they're going to be looking for these factors. After that mutual interest has been established, then they're going to look at job title and skills, and if you pass the quiz that might be important for success in that role. So first thing to do when you are on LinkedIn is to make sure that you've got your title and skills and your experience laid out. But if you're looking for a recruiter to be able to find you once you've established a strong presence, then start connecting with employees, following companies, making that open to work more visible, and responding whenever LinkedIn does send you an invitation. Now, to increase visibility to recruiters, let's go back to this page where a recruiter is looking at thousands of people on a list, and they get very little information. You've got the person's name, their current title, the headline, and the past 2 titles that they've had in their jobs. It's not a lot for a recruiter to be able to make a decision on as to whether this is the type of project manager that we need. So one of the ways to get the interest of a recruiter is to expand the headline. It is 220 characters long, by indicating what value you have. What can you bring to the company that perhaps other people with the same type of skills might not have? So being able to put a title or 2, and then putting something that indicates what you do well, what you want the company to see. The higher you are in a company, the more strategic this needs to be. So in this case, where we've got a director level person looking for a customer relations position, all he's saying or she's saying is helping the world become more customer centric. Doesn't say what the skills are, doesn't say how it's done, just saying this is the result of you hiring me. I can make you become more customer centric. And that sometimes is all they're looking for in the higher levels. If you are in a position that relies very heavily on certain skills, like a full stack application developer, putting in the skills that you are comfortable with and you want to be using in future jobs is going to be important so that the recruiter sees that up front instead of having to come onto your profile, go down into your skill set or looking into your experience area in order to try and find those. The more information you put in this area, in this top section where recruiters are going to be able to see it, the easier it is to be able to be found by a recruiter. Sometimes putting in something that is a little bit quirky, a little bit humorous can work, but be careful about putting too much humor into these headlines. Be careful about too much personal information because some recruiters and hiring managers don't have a sense of humor and you could lose them that way. But it's always a possibility if it seems to fit. Now, LinkedIn used to rely on the endorsements to indicate whether a skill was truly a strong skill. They found that it wasn't necessarily a good indication of that at all, and quite often was simply an indication that you had a good social network that was willing to endorse you if you asked. So they created the skill assessment feature. Now, instead of saying that you have a skill, you can prove that you have a skill. The assessments are in generally the technical areas for technical, business, and design. If you take the test and pass it, LinkedIn is telling us that you are 20% more likely to be hired for a job that has that as one of the requirements. The test itself, 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. It is a timed test and you have to complete it in one session. You can't come back onto it. But a passing score is 70% or better. And if you have a 70% or better, you put a badge. It's automatically added to your skills area. It's valid for 12 months and then it expires because LinkedIn is assuming that there are going to be some features that are going to be improved. There's going to be some areas that are going to have more to this in the future versions, and they want you to retake the test on a regular basis. If you do not pass the test, nobody sees that. It's not something that recruiters can see. It's not something that even you can see. All you can know is that you can take the reassessment one more time, but you have to wait 3 months before you take that test again. If you fail it a second time, it's no longer available to you. And the test itself has been added. Here's that LinkedIn Recruiter software page again. But it says that when a recruiter is searching for, in this case, C++, Python, and CSS, the recruiter can say, I want to know who's passed these tests because we feel it's important for this role to have that level of competency. So the people who come up on top of the list, in this case, the skills match says JavaScript has been passed, Ruby on Rails has been passed. The rest, not necessarily. Oh, I'm sorry, the skills that we're looking for here, JavaScript, Swift, Ruby on Rails are the 3. So he's passed 2 out of the 3. Down here, we've got someone else who's passed. So they can do the search by, did you pass this test? Are you good enough that we want to be able to bring you in? Because that's going to be a big part of your role. There are some companies who are also asking the recruiter to push back on people who say they have a skill and tell them to come out and take the LinkedIn skill test associated with that. And if they pass the test, they go on to the next step of the interview. The skills are a way of indicating that you truly do have the capability of performing that function immediately in a company. The other thing recruiters are going to be searching on are the keywords. And the keywords that seem to come up the most often are, if you're looking for hard skills, that's just got to be part of your skill set. But the soft skills that recruiters are looking for are creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. If recruiters are looking for these skills, you need to add them into your LinkedIn profile. You don't necessarily need to put it in the skills section. You can put it in the about section. You can put it in the experience section, but it needs to be out on your profile someplace because this is the type of person that companies are looking to hire that are going to fit into their culture and are going to be easy to work with. If you're looking for a remote job, then you need to have some of the self-management skills, active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and self-motivation, all things that indicate that you will be successful working from home in a remote situation. We don't necessarily have people to help around you. You're going to be expected to reach out when you need help. Let's go on to LinkedIn now because there's really a fair, and are there questions at this point that we need to be looking at?
Yeah, there's only one question. Frank asked, are keyword skills most important on the headline or is a catchy phrase more critical?
It depends on your job. If it's a value statement that indicates what you can provide to the company in general terms, then that needs to be up there. But if they are looking, if you're in a job where being on Excel is going to be important, you can put Excel up at the top as one of your skills and then put a value statement. But if it's a key skill, put it in both places.
Thank you very much.
Okay. LinkedIn has put some new features out there in 2022, and let's take a look at a couple of them. One of them is, do you have the skills that we think you should have for the type of job you're looking for? And on this, you're going to go into the more, and you're going to build a resume. When you build a resume, LinkedIn will either allow you to upload something that you've already created, or you can create a resume from the profile information that you have. Let's do it that way. And I'm going to put in a job title, and let's say career coach. You have to accept something that is in their set of titles. So here's the resume. I can download it as a PDF. Take a look at over here. They've got a keyword check for this title. And it says, here are the words that we see you've included, but you don't have these words down here, and they're normally associated with this type of role. So if I were looking for a job that was a career coach in general, I would probably want to go back and add some of these keywords somewhere in my resume, in my LinkedIn profile, so that I've got a more complete view of what I've done and what I can offer the next company. That's a nice one to have. Now, the other thing that LinkedIn has done is that in the Jobs tab, if you're going to be looking for a job, and let's say you're looking for a program manager job, you're going to want to go over into the all filters, because that gives you a full set of filters, and a panel is going to come out. It has some of the same filters as we have up on this top section, but it also has an area down here that it's titled as job collections. If you're looking for a green job, you would click this and it would show you the number of results as it normally would, but all of the jobs that are going to be posted here are going to be green. There are two types of green jobs in LinkedIn. One is that you're working in a company that is in itself green. It is either producing a service or a product that is going to be more environmentally friendly. The other part of the green jobs are in industries outside of green, and it's a position that is going to move that company into a more environmentally friendly area. So if you're interested in saving the world and helping the environment, click on green jobs, and LinkedIn is going to be able to push more of those to you. The other one that you can put in is hiring, and this is going to be hiring based on skills. If you have been working in a job and you have years of experience, but you don't have the degree that some of these job postings are looking for, then clicking on hiring based on skills will provide you with the companies that are able to look at your activities, your experience, your skills, and not look at where did you go to school, what kind of degree did you get, and things of that sort. What we have found is that 73% of jobs out on the job boards require a 4-year degree, but only 23% of the population has a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree. More have 2-year degrees. So we've got a real imbalance between what companies say they want and what's available out in the marketplace. So using the hiring based on skills is good if you don't have the exact type of degree, or if you don't have a degree at all, but you feel that you're qualified to continue on with that type of a role. Okay on those two? Because those are new. All right. One of the things that's going to be really important in the job search is being able to connect with the company. That is called engaging in the brand. And if somebody in the chat can give me the name of a company that they're targeting, we'll use that as an example. Or you can just shout it out. Jackson Healthcare. Okay. Jackson Health System.
There was a Jackson Healthcare company that was down a couple of spots down.
That would be a thing. Okay, thank you to Kathy. Jackson Healthcare, you can follow it right here, but you really want to view the page. So when you go and view the page, you can see that this is going to be Jackson Healthcare. It is their LinkedIn page. It is not their company page that they are using for day-to-day people looking for additional information for them. You're going to use the follow button, and when you use the follow button, that's going to put Jackson Healthcare into your LinkedIn page under interests. And you can collect as many companies as you want. There's no limit to the number that you can put in there. But you also have some more information through here: home, about, posts, jobs. Let's take a look at jobs. You can find the outstanding jobs on their other home page, but on this page, you can create a job alert. And when you create a job alert, it allows you to say that you're looking for a project manager position in Atlanta. You can say if you want to be on-site, hybrid, or remote, or all three of them are fine with you, and then you can create a job alert. What this does is that when a recruiter posts a job on LinkedIn that has a project manager role associated with it, they are going to receive back from LinkedIn a list of people who have expressed interest in their company and whose skills match that particular job. Recruiters are generally going to be more interested in a quick search and being able to take a look at your profile because you match what they're looking for and you're interested in their company. Seems like a win-win for everyone. LinkedIn will allow you to have several per company, but you really don't want to put more than one per company. Because once a company sees that you are interested in them enough to set up a job alert, it's nice for them to be able to look for all types of roles that you might be interested in. And LinkedIn only gives you 20 job alerts, and some of them you're going to want to use in your jobs area, and some of them you want to use in the few highly targeted companies. The other thing you can do on this page, though, is you can take a look at the people. When you click on people, it tells you that there are 425 employees who are currently working at this company and who have a LinkedIn profile. It gives you two columns: where do they live and where do they study. So if you wanted to be able to start narrowing down and find people within this company, you'll be able to do that either by going into the geographic area that you're looking for or by using these next buttons. If you click next, it's going to give you two new columns. One is what they do. This is what department they work in. What they're skilled at might be interesting, but it's really more interesting. You want to get in touch with somebody from the HR team. You want to have somebody that's in the healthcare services itself. You can start narrowing it down. And if you click next again, it'll tell you what they studied, but they'll also tell you if you're connected to anybody in that company. And that's important because you probably are connected with a lot of people who you have no idea where they work these days. They were working here, now they're working there. You just haven't been able to keep in touch with them. So when you click the first degree, I don't know anybody there. If I connect, let's see if I have any second degree connections. I do. One. So I can scroll down and I can see that there's one person who is a second degree connection, which means that he and I are not connected, but we have somebody in our network that is the same person. Being able to, and here's the name of the person that we have in common. If we wanted to connect with somebody within the company, this is a really good person to connect with because you've got a reason to connect with them. You never use the white connect button because that sends the message that's automatic. I'd like to be part of your network. That's pretty useless when you're trying to connect with people that could help you. You're going to click on their name or on their picture and you're going onto their LinkedIn profile page and you're going to use the blue connect button. The connect button that's on the profile page is always going to allow you to personalize a message. It can only be 300 characters, so you can't get too wordy, but you can say, I see we have connections in common on LinkedIn. I'm interested in career opportunities at, and then give the name of the company. Let's connect. Would love to talk. So being able to give a reason why you want to be connecting with a person is going to be a huge way of getting them to connect with you. But other things that you might want to do, and let's take off the second degree, is if I want to work in the Atlanta metropolitan area, and I wanted to know who the recruiters were, I can do a search by title. And in this area, there are 6 people who either currently have a title of recruiter or who have at some time in the past had that title. So let's take a look at these 6 folks. And one of them is #hiring. Great person to connect with because this person is looking for people to bring into the company. Taking a look at the other people, this person's a recruiter. This one does not seem to be in the recruiting field anymore, so might not be as useful. But if we wanted to get into a recruiter who is hiring, there's not a connect button here because she's got more people than she wants to be part of. When you're following somebody, you can see the post that she's putting out on LinkedIn, but she can't see yours. So it's a one-way conversation. If you're looking for a job, you should always connect. Following doesn't do you any good. Or if people are following you, you want to see their posts. You want to see what they're doing, what they're offering when they have jobs posted. So following somebody who is a recruiter is a good thing to be able to do, gets you into their network, takes care of some of the features that LinkedIn is looking for that you're connected and interested to the company.
Don't you want to try to connect with that person though? Don't you want to try to send them a personal note?
Oh, absolutely. So when you do follow, you can send a personal note. So you want to follow them because that connects you to them, but you never want to set up your profile so that you will only allow people to follow you.
Right, but if you click on the more button, right, won't you then be able to see connect? So that's where you'd be able to connect with them and send them a note like, you know,
Yes.
while you're connecting with them.
Right. So follow just adds you to the list of followers they have. And Jeff, you're absolutely right. You need to go into the connect feature in order to tell why you're connecting with them.
And if you're a job seeker, like Ruth said, if you're a job seeker, you want to make sure that you have that follow feature turned off because you want people to be able to connect with you. And that's just turning off the creator mode, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, the creator mode does not allow people to connect with you. Don't use the creator mode. It's nice because it puts in things like what you are interested in, but it shuts down the conversation that you're really hoping for on LinkedIn. So turn off creator mode, make sure that when you connect and when people connect with you, it's truly a connection and not a follow. You can follow other people, but make sure you're set up to connect. When you're looking at other jobs through here, maybe you're interested in the IT side. We can take a look at all the people who are in the IT department in the Atlanta metropolitan area. And if there's someone who is in a similar position to you, you can connect that way also. So if you are someone who is dealing with help desk, you can connect with Keelan by saying, I see that you work help desk at Jackson Healthcare. I'm interested in that company. I have a similar job. Would love to connect with you and see how you like working there. Being able to have some type of a reason, some type of a connection as to why you're being asked to connect is an important part. And sometimes it's going to be more straightforward. It's going to be, I'm looking at jobs within Jackson Healthcare because I like the company. I would love to connect with you and talk about what you like about it. LinkedIn allows you to slice and dice all the employees that are in a company who have a LinkedIn profile so that you're able to find the people who are going to be able to help you, champion you into a role within that company. Now, if you have a third level connection that you're looking at here, you would go onto, excuse me, you go onto their profile and you can still use the more button to connect. The connect button is always going to be able to send a message. Now, the connect button gives you one chance at a message also. So if they do not connect with you and they remain a second or a third degree, then you are going to need the use of the message feature here that you have when you're in a premium. But within this more button, you'll always be able to connect and at least give them a reason why you want to connect and go from there. That would be the InMail, yes. Okay, questions on connecting in a company? Searching for recruiters, searching for people with similar titles, searching for hiring managers. Can all be done within LinkedIn on the company page. And let's take a look at another way to connect. And somebody give me the name of a college or university that you attended. And you can either shout it out or you can type it into the chat.
Purdue University.
We'll take it. Purdue University, there going to be a fair number of drop downs, but you're going to be looking for the school. And if you attended that school, you probably recognize the logo of it. You're probably already following it because whenever you have something in your education section, LinkedIn is automatically going to put that into your interest area. But let's take a look at the page itself. You don't care about jobs at Purdue because that's not necessarily where you're going to want to work, but you do want to look at the alumni. And when the alumni feature comes up, it's going to tell us that there are 316,027 people who have attended Purdue in the last 123 years and who have a LinkedIn profile. From this, we'll be able to take a look at the columns that LinkedIn gives us, where they work, where they live, click the next button, what they do, what they're skilled at, what they studied, and your first, second, and third degrees. The one that's most important for us at this point is where they work. So if you wanted to, and let me open this up a little bit more. If you wanted to go into a new company and you wanted to say, Jackson Healthcare, there are 3 people who attended Purdue that are currently working at Jackson Health System. Not quite the same as healthcare, though. The people that are also listed here used to work at Jackson Healthcare, but are no longer there. They've moved into another company. But if this was an exact match and we wanted to take a look at it more closely, you can see that there are some people here who went to the same school that you did and who are working in the company that you want to be in. This is a great way to network too, because now you can say in your connection request, I see you also went to Purdue. I enjoyed my time there. I am interested in Jackson Health as a possible career move. How do you like it there? Let's connect. Being able to connect with people who have something strongly in common with you, like a school, is a good way to be able to get people to accept your connection request. Sometimes people won't accept connection requests because they feel like there's nothing in common. They don't know why they should connect with you. Your information on the connection request always needs to indicate what it is that you're asking for and what you have in common with that person. Now, schools are probably one of the lesser used ways of connecting with people because you don't have to rely simply on the schools that you attended. If you have a spouse, if you have a parent, a cousin, if you're paying tuition for somebody in college, go ahead and connect with that college so that you're following them, even though you didn't attend. And your message to them is going to be, I see you attended Purdue. My son is currently there and loves it. And then go on with your request. I am interested in Jackson Health System as a possible career move. Would love to talk with you. Let's connect. So adding as many schools as you can is going to broaden out the base of how you're going to be perceived and how you're going to be found, and if you can network stronger. Because there's no use finding a company and then nobody in the company is going to connect to you, even though you've sent out 10 different requests. Finding a reason for somebody to request is going to be a bigger part of it. And within that, you'll be able to see that at the bottom of your page, where you've got your interests, it's going to show companies, groups, and schools. The schools that are being listed here aren't necessarily the ones that I attended, but they're the ones that I'm following because either I have paid tuition for a kid to go there, or a spouse went there, or I like their football team. So any reason you want to put in schools, put them in. It's a good thing to be able to indicate that you've got an interest beyond simply the one that you went to. Companies, as we said, you can put in as many companies as you want, but LinkedIn also has things beyond just companies. So I've got NASA that I'm following. I have no intention of ever working at NASA, but I think it's the closest thing to magic that we've got. So I want to follow that company so that on my homepage, I'm going to see more information about it. So on the homepage, now that I've said I'm following this college, I am following these companies, I'm following these organizations, that information is going to appear in my home page so that I can see more information that is of interest to me and might be able to help me out in my search for new jobs. Okay, questions about any of this?
Nothing in the chat. If anybody has a question, you're welcome to hold down the space bar and ask away.
Hey, Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Ruth. This is Shelley Firoza. Yeah, you mentioned the creator mode setting. Okay, how can I check to see if I have that mode set up? What? Or not? Please.
You'll be on your profile page and you'll be past the analytics and into the resources group. Creator mode I have is off. If I were selling something on LinkedIn, if I were selling my services to people on LinkedIn, I would probably have it on because creator mode allows you to have some features that you don't get in other parts of LinkedIn. It allows you to set up meetings. It allows you to have, it's not a Zoom meeting, it's a virtual meeting through LinkedIn. But it has some features that are positive if you're selling. It's expected that you post on LinkedIn something new twice a week. But if you're not selling, you need to keep your creator mode off because you don't need those features and you don't want to set yourself up as somebody who's in business on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. I will go and check on the resources section to make sure that I have mine turned off because I'm looking for an accounting position versus sales.
There you go. You might want to take a look at your analytics section too,
Okay,
because as you are adding more information to LinkedIn, as you are more engaged on the homepage, making comments, you're connecting to companies and universities, you're going to want to look at how many people have seen your profile and how many search appearances you have been part of. Because the stronger your LinkedIn profile is, the higher these numbers are going to get because LinkedIn is rewarding you. So if you're just starting out on LinkedIn, you might want to take note of what these numbers are and watch as they get higher as people start discovering you more.
okay, that sounds like great advice. I really appreciate it, Ruth.
My pleasure.
Hi, Ruth. It's Frank DeMartin.
Hi, Frank.
Question about your connection with the recruiter themselves. I noticed you didn't talk about whether you're a first, second, or third level connection to the recruiter. Does that impact the where you would be listed in their search?
It has to be a first degree connection. So it's only when a recruiter or someone within the company has accepted your request to connect that it shows up on the LinkedIn recruiter software as a connection.
Oh, okay. So when you were first in the homepage there, it showed the search results that looked like they were second and third, but maybe that's something different.
Oh, let's go and take a look at that. So when we were on a company page,
No, originally when you started, I guess my question is, originally when you started the search in the recruiter tool, you had a list of people.
right. Let me get
For
back up.
search.
This page?
Yes, yeah, the search screen there. And so it shows Emily Dalton, is that second, right?
Right.
Shannon Curry third. Is this an actual screen or?
This is an actual screen.
Okay.
For the LinkedIn recruiter, this information comes back regardless of whether it's a first, second, or a third degree. Because a recruiter can't be expected to be a connected person to everybody that they might consider as a possible employee. So LinkedIn is going to give some benefit to being a first or a second degree with the recruiter who's doing this search, but in general, it's not that high a factor. Being connected to somebody within the company. So Emily is not connected as a first degree connection to the recruiter. Emily seems to be connected to somebody in the company, but that's enough to give her enough of a boost that LinkedIn is putting her up front because she's connected to someone in the company. Shannon Curry is not because he's a third degree.
When you're using the full-blown recruiting package, and next week you'll see that Kurt Vandermarter will be with us and he'll show us he spends that $10,000 a year for the full-blown recruiting package, is that he gets to see everybody. And there's no restrictions, first, second, third degree. He sees all your contact information, even if you've hidden it. And you don't know that he ever looked at you. And so when you're it's coming up, Emily's number one because she has project manager must be in her profile a couple times. She's in the Chicago area. She's got business strategy and analytics popping up as keywords. So, LinkedIn has said, okay, she's open to work. She's got all the, she's got the most, probably the best match of anybody. And the recruiter just has to sort of go through, look at them, and they'll look at those profiles and quickly go, yes, no, yes, no.
Okay, got it. Yeah, interesting, because I heard from some through another source that being a first level connection is extremely important. So to connect with as many recruiters in your field as possible is advantageous to the recruiter search. But you're saying it's not as important.
Well, it is if you're playing the full-blown recruiting package, like this person here. This is from the recruiting package, but you have to remember more than 50% of recruiters don't pay 10,000 bucks a year to LinkedIn. They're just using the basic LinkedIn package or LinkedIn Premium. And the more people that you can connect with, then you'll be found by those people who are not paying the full-blown recruiting package.
Got it. Thanks.
So it is important to be a first-degree connection to the recruiter, but in a large company, there could be 8 people who are recruiters, and you're probably not going to be a first-degree connection with all of them. So being a first-degree connection to a recruiter or to someone in the company is still going to get you at least a second-degree connection, and that's going to be a valuable piece too. But if you are a first-degree connection to the person who is doing the recruiting, that is an advantage. But if you can't get a connection to every recruiter they have, get at least one, or find somebody else within the organization that will connect with you. And since LinkedIn doesn't tell us all the details behind their algorithms, and we're just taking a general guess at what seems to be reasonable, you're going to get some conflicting information every so often. And as long as it doesn't, one person says do this, and the other person says don't do that. Work it out.
Dennis has a good question, or Denise. Ruth, is there a way to search for recruiters who are displaying the hashtag hiring banner?
Not that we know of, but a lot of times when you are on LinkedIn, and let me go back there. Okay, so let's go back to the homepage here. If you're looking for people who are active on LinkedIn or people who are recruiters who are doing that hashtag, you can put in here post. Because that's one of the things, and just hit enter. Because you're looking for people who are posting a lot. And LinkedIn gives you a couple of choices. We're going to choose posts. And it will give you the option to find out who is posting from certain companies. So if you wanted to look, I need to know everybody who is posted from Amazon. This will tell you everybody who has posted from that company. And quite often it's going to be people who are in the recruiting department. And so far it's not, they're all company pages. Let's get off of that.
Could you put in the search box, could you put in hashtag hiring?
That goes to a hashtag. Let's go to, I want the author of the post to be from a company. And now everything here is going to be the people who have posted. And sometimes they're going to be recruiters, and sometimes you're going to see that banner around them. Boy, they shut down, didn't they? But the best way to do it is to find the people who are posting, because those are the people who are most active on LinkedIn. There's one that is looking for work. Yikes. This didn't end up to be a very good example. But if you put in, and let's get off this post page. If you put in hashtag hiring, that's going to take you to the different hashtags that are associated with the topic of hiring. And we've got 3 million people who are following the hashtag hiring, which is all information that deals with how you hire, best practices. onboarding. And some of here, you're going to be able to see, have that purple hashtag hiring, but it's not always as reliable. You can't just search for that we know of. But it's not a bad way to do it, really, because there are more people who have that hiring. So the hashtag hiring might be a good place to find people, but it's going to be harder to do it by company. So if you wanted to follow this and get more information, go ahead and click on follow. Means you're following. And then when you're on your home page, it's going to add the hashtags into this area through here. That was interesting. I'd never had that question before. Learned something. Thank you.
Good question. Yeah, it would be nice if there's a way to search all the recruiter, anybody who puts that banner on there.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? We're about out of time here. One time for one last question. All right. Well, all right. Nothing else out there. Ruth, thank you very, very much. If you'd like to connect with Ruth, please feel free to reach out to her. This is her ode. She's got a different banner on there now. She changes it every couple months, so I never know which one she's got up there. I think this one's prettier than the one she's currently got. So if you'd like to connect with Ruth, please feel free to reach out to her. Just let her know you met her here. Next week, as I mentioned earlier, Kurt Vondermatter, who's a retained search executive at Linked Executive Search, will be with us. He's going to talk about the full-blown recruiting package. He pays LinkedIn the big bucks every year to be able to go and hire people. He'll talk about the different kinds of recruiters. He'll talk about how, and he'll show us what he uses when he's looking for people. So please come join us. It's a very fascinating, interesting thing to be in the background to sort of see, you know, what the recruiting package looks like. Sorry about that. The LinkedIn promise, if you will, everybody please raise your right hand. Yeah, somebody's out. The Amazon truck is out in front of the house, so the dog's barking. All right, everybody please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. Very, very, very important. Always send that personal note. As Ruth mentioned before, when you see that white connect button, go click on the person's face. When you click on their face, you then should be able to find the blue connect button, and then you can send a personal note. And you can always send a personal note on your cell phone or tablet. Instead of hitting the connect button, click on the more or the three little dots or the hamburger, whatever it is, and up should come the next option, personalized invitation. Career FW Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Please join us tomorrow for interviewing Wednesdays, confident candidates, lessons from the pit crew. Mark McDonald will be with us to share lessons that he's been watching, mistakes that people tend to make over and over and over again. And he'll share some of those common mistakes that he sees and how to become a confident candidate. This is a 90-minute presentation. I was looking at the video the other day. So just know that it'll be from 1 to 2:30 Central Time tomorrow. And then this Thursday, Mark will be back with us, being the fourth Thursday of the month. We talk about networking with a purpose, how to get out there and, you know, I mean, networking is how you're going to find your next job. 80% of jobs are found through networking. How to do it with a purpose, how to be deliberate step by step on what you should do. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, as I mentioned before, we're going to do part 2 of 2, Be a Better Brand with Fred Schlesinger. You don't really need to see lesson 1 if you don't want to. You're welcome to go back and watch it. But because he does a pretty good job of recapping what he talked about briefly. So you can join us. There is a handout. I'll put that handout in the email that goes out Thursday afternoon. So, you know, please, if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please join us in person. If not, we will be on Zoom or Facebook Live. If you'd like to join the Career FW or Career USA LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to join one or both. You do not need to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join. Just checked this morning, we are 10 members away from 14,400. So one of you all, if you're not part of us, you could be one of the 10 new members. So please join. It's a great way to expand your connections. This session has been recorded. It will be on the Career FW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. It'll take a couple hours for YouTube to get it uploaded, but it will be there by dinner time. Just go to playlist. When you go to the Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist and then click on LinkedIn. And when you click on LinkedIn, view full playlist, up will come a list of all the different dates and topics so you can find the one you want to go back and watch at your convenience. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, just send an email to Career USA, +subscribe at groups.io. You will not be spammed, but what you will get is the email, the topic of the day, the title of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link. That way you just click on the link and join us when our sessions are going. Please remember, Career FW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Ruth is a volunteer. All of our speakers are volunteers. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 14 years has just been to help you land your next great opportunity. So thank you very much for joining us today, everybody. Have a great weekend or a great rest of the week. And we will see you hopefully Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday this week.